I have absolutely no horse in this race, no dog in this fight, but I am loving the beef between Theo and FFmpeg. So this here is Theo. You've probably seen his face around before. Maybe he had blonde hair at the time, maybe he had another hair color. Fairly big tech YouTuber. He put out a video titled FFmpeg needs to change. This is a 25-minute video of Theo getting, let's say, rage baited by Twitter beef. But the rage baiting led to a discussion on the FFmpeg mailing list, revoke social media delegation. So revoke the social media access from the person who's been making these tweets. Now we'll get into this discussion and this vote, but let's talk about how we got here. So if you at all follow tech media, tech social media, you've probably seen FFmpeg just getting these random little dunks on people. For example, this is the one that really started it. Someone said, your codebase is a mess to FFmpeg, and they said, talk is cheap, send patches. And this was a relatively popular post, and since then, there's been these various other posts just, doing a little funny, doing a bit of dunking on people. Posts like this one with the CEO of Rumble saying, the best quality live streams will now be on Rumble. We didn't license technology, we made it ourselves. So good luck to the competition in catching up. And they say, if you say so. Because like a lot of the internet, like a lot of media players, like a lot of media-related applications, is just a wrapper around FFmpeg. There are some things that are not, but a lot of them are. And these two tweets are basically the template for an FFmpeg post that's probably going to go viral. It's dunking on someone who says they're making something amazing, but it's literally just FFmpeg. Somebody saying either FFmpeg is bad or something that relies on FFmpeg is bad, and then them saying, haha, well, we make the software, you don't, so if you want it to be better, come make it better. Not every single tweet is like this. A lot of them are just, here's something that FFmpeg is doing, here's an update, things like that. But if you're looking for what might be one of the least serious official social media accounts for a FOSS project, this is one of the places to look. And personally, I think it's fun. I like to see people just not take social media seriously, not focus on these really important big issues, and just say dumb things, have some fun at the expense of other people, and hopefully they understand the joke as well. And most people do. Some people, though, don't. And over this time of FFmpeg kind of just going around dunking on people, there have been some that have gotten sort of tilted by the situation, that don't like the way they're handling it, think they should be more serious, and Theo is one of those people that has gotten very tilted. Now, the reason we're focusing on Theo is he is directly responsible for this thread being made. He is directly responsible for a discussion to be had about whether or not social media access should be revoked from the person, from one of the people, not all of them, but specifically the person who's been going around making these posts. And there's a bit of important backstory about Theo. So this person here, Soundwave, turns out this is actually a former employee of Theo. This was mentioned in Theo's video. This is not some hidden new information. So even though it wasn't that big of a deal at the time, Theo is kind of primed, I guess you would say, to not like things FFmpeg are going to say. And somewhere later down the line is where he really got, very rage baited. This is my day-to-day experience trying to use VLC. Constant lookups, freezes, playback issues, color problems, watch to the end to see IINA, this is some random Mac video player, chew right through the same footage. Both powered by FFmpeg, by the way. Now, this wasn't a post that was trashing FFmpeg. If anything, it was a post trashing VLC, and he's had discussions with VLC since then, and they're on relatively good terms. But the problem is, VLC has had a 4.0 version that was announced about 4 years ago, and people are still waiting on that. So because VLC bundles all of its codecs into the project, all of the improvements that are happening to FFmpeg don't matter. They do not affect VLC because they're not going to be used by VLC because it's basically using a far out-of-date version. And he did go and try the nightly build for VLC 4, and that was vastly better. So he knows the problems have been fixed by upstream. It's just a matter of VLC getting the new version actually released. But, especially when FFmpeg is mentioned, but even just codecs in general, you can expect that FFmpeg is probably going to be either in the replies or doing some quote posting. So they decided to do a bit of rage baiting. There was another post where Theo was basically saying VLC bad, all this stuff. That's since been deleted, but this is a reply to this same situation. Theo seems to have this habit of deleting tweets that go kind of negative, that have a lot of people sort of being like, yo, what are you doing? Like, why are you trash talking here? So that's why that's gone. From FFmpeg, sorry don't like our codec implementations in VLC, looking forward to seeing yours. Again, the problem wasn't the codec implementations in VLC, it's the codec implementations being years out of date, because it's shipping a years out of date version. So the implementations are good, just not the ones that they have. If I submitted a patch to VLC, how many years would it take to ship? FFmpeg is run incredibly well. I wish the same dedication was put into VLC. V4 has been needed for 5 years now. It's become vaporware. You would never manage to submit a patch even close to replacing FFmpeg in VLC, which is not what Theo was suggesting, like, at all. But then Theo let himself get rage baited, and this right here is when he lost the argument. You clearly have no idea how much my history was in FFmpeg. I built a ton of early Twitch infra on top of y'all. I'm not talking out of my ass. I'm complaining that a valuable piece of software can't even play video recorded on an iPhone because V4 soon. Whenever you say, I built something on FFmpeg, that right there is exactly what they need to hear to make you as angry as possible. There are so many cases, like the one I showed you over here, with the Rumble CEO talking about how Rumble is so amazing, Rumble is doing all this great video stuff. If you say that you're either not using FFmpeg and you are, or you are using it, but you haven't submitted patches, they're gonna go right into you. Let us know where your FFmpeg patches are. There's a difference between being a user of FFmpeg and a developer of FFmpeg. The latter gives you the right to hot takes like, the built-in ones are awful. That's because you actually have the skills to write replacements. Writing scripts for a hugely unprofitable streaming service is not the flex you think it is. I love they just had to include a jab towards Twitch as well. Twitch isn't even involved in the discussion, but because Theo mentioned it, again, they had to use it as a way to rage bait him. Going after a company that contributed money and patches to y'all instead of addressing the point is disappointing. Expected better from you guys. We would love to see a copy of your maintenance contract and or full-time members of staff working solely on FFmpeg. FFmpeg donations annually barely account for a fifth of a Silicon Valley engineer. This is really sad. They should be making considerably more money for how many things are built on FFmpeg. The fact that companies like Amazon, like Google, like all of these other big companies that I'm sure are using FFmpeg are not giving them money, or at least not giving them substantial amounts of money, is honestly sad. And again, since a lot of people were seeing this without the full context, he was never saying that FFmpeg was bad. He was saying that VLC has this whole V4 version that was supposed to ship like 4 years ago at this point that fixes all of these problems, but still haven't managed to do so. And having this very tight build system where everything is like bundled together makes it hard to go and actually, use the software anymore. However, this series of posts, and especially this one right here, did lead to him getting quite dunked on at the time, like this post from Nixcraft. A bunch of crybabies and wannabe influencers are trying to bully FFmpeg, who probably can't even write 100 lines of Python code. Go back to your vibe coding and YouTube channel and leave handwritten optimization and code to real open source developers. I said what I said. This is another account that is just constantly shitposting. I highly recommend following the Nixcraft Twitter account. I don't know why I'm not, but I occasionally just see posts from them. And due to all the response this got, Theo did get rage-baited into donating $5,000 to FFmpeg development. This is something he loves to mention every single time he talks about FFmpeg. I think in the video, he probably mentioned it at least 4 times. And Theo was gonna make a video about this situation, was gonna make a big deal about this, but at the time he let this go by. What happened more recently though is this one. Quick to complain, but not quick to contribute. Gitlog -- author Oltonen. So this is a person who was talking about these AI-generated Minecraft videos and how there was this issue where the main problem with them isn't the AI themselves, it's that rendering video is incredibly difficult, and stringing together thousands upon thousands of frames and doing that at a reasonable pace through a video encoder is very taxing and very complicated. And there was someone here who was talking shit about FFmpeg's code, but it wasn't the person that they quote tweeted. This person was just talking about the complexity of building this solution. And of course the reply to that, because FFmpeg did reply, was talk is cheap, contribute, all this good stuff. Not actually knowing who this person is, not knowing that this is a person who is very involved in video codecs, very involved in actually handling video, not directly involved in FFmpeg, but this is someone who does actually understand what they're talking about, but because FFmpeg dunked on them, everybody just assumes this person's a moron and has no idea what they're doing. What really set off the drama was this part of the video.
FFmpeg is so important, and I'm happy to put $5,000 in to help make it better. I rely on this software every day. I'll probably donate more money in the near future. I care a lot. You know what? I'll put my money where my mouth is. If the current admin running the FFmpeg Twitter account quits, I'll donate $20,000. I'll do it. Mark my words. If the guy who runs his account retires, he gives up, he stops doing this fucking bullshit and going after people who do not deserve it for no reason, I will immediately send $20,000 to the FFmpeg organization because I am that confident he is causing problems.
He also went and tweeted this. FFmpeg deserves more funding. I have donated $5,000 already. I will donate another $20,000 if the current admin of the FFmpeg account resigns. This tweet has since been deleted. So this resulted in 2 threads. The one I showed you earlier, but before that one, Twitter/X spat on YouTube. Overnight, an SPI contributor to FFmpeg, that being Theo, has posted on YouTube a rant about a spat with the FFmpeg Twitter account. In 11 hours since posting, it has clocked up tens of thousands of views and hundreds of comments. Our outreach channels should not be confrontational or combative, irrespective of the merits. Even if the other party gets rude, a civil tone can be maintained. Who runs the Twitter account and who wrote the post featured in the video? This guy here didn't even know that they had a Twitter account. So that's always a great start. Now here we have Remy. This is someone we're going to see quite a bit. Hi, speaking as a member of the CC, this is their Code of Conduct Committee, Enforcement Team, whatever you want to call it. There are critiques that I would level about our media team. Misleading statements that potentially lead to discredit. Personal opinions that look like they represent the FFm community, even though they're actually points of contention. And I understand that their salty tone is not to everyone's taste, but it does not seem out of place on X as opposed to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is actually so much worse because everyone pretends to be like normal people on LinkedIn, but it's like psychotic management people who think working 50 hours a day is a normal thing. The CC already received a complaint about that specific Gitlog X post, and frankly, I fail to see a problem with it. Mr. Oltonen denigrated FFmpeg and OSS multimedia in general, and he is the one that we should be pissed at. This just didn't happen. Now, a lot of people are assuming that Remy is the one who is running the account. Now, Remy denies that he is the one running the account, but you'll notice that he is the one who is incredibly angry about this situation happening. Is it a coincidence? Could be. Could he just be an angry person? Very much so. But it is very interesting that the only person angry here is this person? FFmpeg merely stated the factual truth that he did not contribute anything. I think the media team is well within its role to highlight the problem of OSS sustainability by calling out hypocritical statements. I don't think that constantly calling out people online is going to help with that problem. I understand. Like, I think it's funny, right? Don't get me wrong. I think what they're doing on Twitter is funny. But if you want to talk about improving funding of the project, improving sustainability, I don't think constantly dunking on people who are building really cool things with your tech is a good way to help the sustainability problem. Please ignore the drama tuber, or better yet, just downvote the video. There is no shortage of bruised egos, know-it-alls, and bottom-feeding clickbaiters on YouTube. In this case, though, Theo, as he said every single minute of the video, has donated money to the project, a substantial amount of money. So this isn't just someone who is talking trash, and that's all it is. He has donated $5,000. So I think you should weigh that opinion above just random people talking shit online. Now, should it be weighed really highly? That's going to be up to the project, but it's certainly not worth nothing. And from Michael Niedermeyer, hi everyone. Ultimately, I and Ronaldo control the Twitter account, but Ronaldo did not write these messages, nor did I. Access is then delegated to several other accounts. One of the accounts this is delegated to wrote those messages. And then we start the drama on the mailing list. Quick vote. Should the delegation from where this came from be revoked to FFmpeg social media? And that takes us over to this thread. As requested, reposting this as a new thread. For context, see the video and see the original thread over here. Should the delegation from where this came from be revoked to FFmpeg social media? Vote ends in 7 days. Please reply on FFmpeg Devel with your choice. R to revoke access, K to keep access. Here's where we get to some fun stuff. From Remy, you are totally out of line. You're endorsing the bullying from the YouTuber. That makes you a bully, as it does anyone who votes R. Now, you can certainly argue whether or not the vote should happen, whether or not this is a good idea to have it happen because Theo's doing this, have it even happen in this way because they do have a policy on how votes should be done. All of that is a totally reasonable discussion to be had. However, removing someone's social media access does not make you a bully. That's not how that works. And from Remy, I suppose you did not watch the entirety of the video. Putting a bounty on someone else is bullying. I love the framing of this as a bounty, which I've seen other people saying as well. This is implying that Theo basically put a hit out on someone. That's not what happened. He said, if you get rid of the person that is disrupting the project, I will donate to the project. Could you say this is bribery? Sure, if you want to throw around terms like that. But let's not belittle the term bounty by using it in this context. Calling them motherfucker is bullying. It is also public insult, which is punishable felony by my local laws. Well, luckily, Theo doesn't live in Finland and lives in America, where you can insult someone and that is not something you're going to go to jail for. Now, you can say this is bullying. I think that is totally reasonable. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But that is a separate issue from whether or not the other things being said are worth discussing as a reason to revoke social media access. You can say Theo is a bad actor, Theo is someone doing this maliciously, but it doesn't change the state that things are in. Now, going back to Michael Niedermeyer, the reason why I think his words are really important here is he's not just some random person who happens to be involved in the project. He was the project lead from 2004 to 2015. He was an 11-year project lead. He's very deeply ingrained in the project. If you look at the maintainers file, tons of things has his name attached to it. This is not just some random person. The author's point is that multiple FFmpeg supporters who have not said bad things about FFmpeg at all, some who donated to FFmpeg were pulled into aggressive confrontational arguments by the official account. Basically, the official FFmpeg account is harassing random supporters whenever the person behind it feels an itch to start an argument with someone. The complaint is not about unconventional or confrontational tone towards people being incompetent, towards people having badly spoken about FFmpeg, or towards some corporation. It's about confrontational actions towards FFmpeg supporters when they had an issue with VLC, or when FFmpeg happened to half misread what they said, or when they cause an itch by being associated with C++, TypeScript, or something else. If VLC wants to confront people who complain about VLC, then VLC should use their own account for that. It's not our business to do so. Obviously, confronting the JavaScript community or C++ or whatever is just inappropriate. Just why would we? What's the sense of that? And we should not be confrontational towards our supporters, we simply should not be. That's just not appropriate. If someone wants to do these things, nothing stops them from doing so with their own personal Twitter account, but not the official FFmpeg account. Or maybe, to literally quote one part of the video, he cares more about being funny on Twitter than representing the project in a good light. I think this hits one of the core parts of this. These posts are funny in some sense. I agree they are funny, and they lead to engagement. But at the same time, they are damaging FFmpeg's reputation. I don't think we should trade our reputation for being funny. Also, the follows we get from this are shallow. These follows are here for the funny posts, not for FFmpeg. Now, I want to highlight this post because I just don't know how you let this happen. Thomas here says, "This sounds like a very clear case of someone who should not have access to this account. I say revoke. Giving the impression the only way to contribute to the project is by writing code is hurtful to the project. I've made this point before, and I stand by it." And Remy just couldn't help himself and said, "Thomas, COC violation has been recorded. You had been warned." So, because this person voted the wrong way, Remy thinks it's okay to claim a COC violation. I don't know how you let this person just do this and not immediately shut things down. Ignore all the stuff with Theo, ignore all the stuff about what the Twitter account is doing. You can't run a project if a vote happens and then someone votes the wrong way and that's a COC violation. You need to do something about this person. And Michael Niedermeyer, who wasn't even going to get involved, says, okay, I'm just going to vote to revoke access as well because you can't just operate like this. Now, I think Remy has a point, but I don't think they are capable of expressing what the point is. So the issue they have is they don't think the poll should even be happening in the first place. They feel like the poll is bullying. They feel like because people are saying, oh, he might be involved in the Twitter account, that this is like people shouldn't be saying this. But that's a separate issue from voting on the poll. So if you think the poll shouldn't be happening, have that discussion. If you think that the video was bullying, have that discussion. But if the poll is happening, you can't then harass people who vote in a way that you disagree with. Basically, this is a situation where there is not a side that is right. I think Remy has no idea what they're doing, and they shouldn't be involved in any sort of COC enforcement whatsoever. I think Theo probably went a little bit too hard with his video, and there's no point making a 25-minute video about getting rage-baited by FFmpeg. I think that's dumb as well. Do I think they should be constantly shit-talking people on social media? They probably shouldn't be doing that either, right? This entire situation is a situation that literally never had to happen. There was no reason for any of this to occur. Now, since all of this going down, Theo has had private discussions with the VLC team, with the FFmpeg team. Everyone is trying to cool things down and just realize that, hey, this is a dumb situation. This makes everyone here look bad. There's no reason that this needs to be done, right? None of this needed to happen. And I don't think that anyone deserves harassment for what's been going on here. I think this is a dumb little Twitter spat that got way too heated, way too quickly. I think maybe the joke with FFmpeg probably been overdone at this point, but that's just me. And a big part of the reason a lot of these posts are being deleted is because of these discussions that are happening in private. Theo, FFmpeg, VLC, they all want to iron things out and just put this behind them. This isn't some like deep, crazy conspiracy. People just want to move on. This right here is why I like the internet and why I like social media. Because this is a completely inconsequential situation. It doesn't matter at all to anyone's lives who are watching this, but you still watch the video for some reason, and I don't understand why. So, if you like the video, I guess let me know your thoughts down below on the whole situation. Do you think there is a right or wrong here? Do you think everyone kind of screwed up a bit? Do you even care? Do you even know why you watched the video? I'd love to know. So, if you like the video, go like the video. If you really like the video, and you want to become, actually go subscribe as well. If you really like the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, check out the Patreon, subscribe to Daily Bearer Pay, linked in the description down below. That's going to be it for me, and this was so dumb.
Like this.